Welcome to Worth the War. My name is Kimmy. The purpose of Worth the War is rethinking love, preparing people for healthy love and relationship and how to avoid abuse. If you think we can do a better job with love and relationship than we're doing in the modern culture, then you have found the exact right channel. I hope you'll press our subscribe button and join us as a community as we work together to spare hearts. Today's topic is really important, teaching your kids about bullies. Together, we're going to look at how we can prepare our kids, even if they're little or if they're in their teens and preteens, and quite frankly, even us as adults, to identify what's going on in the bullying culture and also help them to navigate avoidance and learning how to get themselves out of those situations. So I hope you'll spend a few minutes with us and we can work together to spare some hearts. What we're going to do today is look at what bullying is and then look at the problem statistics so that we can know as parents exactly how big this is in the modern day. And then also some very practical ways to recognize what bullying is, teach our children to recognize it early. The earlier we catch it, usually the less advanced it is, the better it is to be able to resolve with the less intervention. Also, we're going to just really keep it on this practical idea of what we can do as parents to shore up our kids so they can avoid the abuse that we call bullying. For the purposes of this video, we're going to use the stopbullying.gov as our resource for defining what bullying is, and I'll of course have that down below in the notes. Bullying is really described as aggressive behavior that is imbalance of power. It may be physical strength, it may be something that somebody has that makes them a perceived weakness or embarrassing. It may be a popularity thing. Sometimes there's bullying in numbers. Sometimes it can be used to control or harm somebody. But these power imbalances can change over time, but they often will include the same people. So repetition is a very big hallmark of what bullying is. So if something's happened to you once, that's not bullying. It could be unkind, it could be aggressive, but it wouldn't be bullying. So we have to understand there's also different types of bullying. There's verbal bullying, the way that you name call or tease or have inappropriate sexual comments that are uninvited, threatening to cause harm. There's also social bullying, when you purposely leave people out to hurt them, telling other kids to leave them alone or treat them badly, spreading rumors about somebody, or literally trying to embarrass them in public. And there's also physical bullying, which I think we probably all recognize as being the classic form that we see when we see movies, which is kicking and hitting and tripping and punching and being rude or making hand gestures or faces at people just to throw them off their game. Bullying can happen anywhere. It's more likely to be happening in schools or in neighborhoods where there is the same people group kind of hanging out. And we have to understand that until we truly understand the power of bullying, we don't understand what it can do to our children. So let's understand the statistics. 1 out of 5 students, and this is also going to be down below in the notes by stopbullying.gov, 1 out of 5 students report being bullied, peaking in middle school around 6th grade. We're going to talk a little bit about cyberbullying in a moment, but 34% of students have experienced it and 60% said it affected their learning and perceived safety in school. 59% of U.S. teens report that they have been harassed or bullied online, and 90% of kids surveyed said it was a major problem for their age group. Let's also look at how this affects our kids' self-worth and ability to keep their mental health. Kids who have been bullied or cyberbullied are 2 times more likely to attempt suicide. If no other statistic sticks with you, think about that one. Don't do these things. We have to make sure they understand and that we fully understand. Many parents will not be preparing their kids for this. So it's doubly important our kids can identify it and know themselves what bullying is. Starting at a very young age, and I'll link this little worksheet below. It's done by a teachers group, and they did a great job of having this little page that basically has kids identify what's the difference between being a buddy or a bully. And it has 2 different faces. It's not all about buddies or all about bullies. It's actually questions that take you back and forth. So kids have to really think about what actions create a bully. So for instance, the first question is, cares about how people feel. But the next one is somebody who laughs when people mess up. Then one of them is taking turn in sharing, playing with everyone, is kind and respectful. Or is it someone who tries to make others look dumb and not cool? Are they polite? Do they use kind words? Are they respectful? Or do they punch or hit or push? do they call people mean names, or do they help people? You can see how it goes back and forth so that your child gets a full idea of all of the different ways that people behave when it comes to friendship, and they can start to really pick out the people that don't end up on the friend list. Probably one of the most powerful resources that I found to help parents, to help their kids be shored up when it comes to this area of bullying, was on a YouTube channel, which I'll link below, Strong Minds, Strong Life. And what he shared was he had an encounter with a guidance counselor that had him list out his strengths and his weaknesses, had him face them, and he gave them reasons that some of his weaknesses actually were going to end up helping him in the long run. If we can do this for our kids, if we can shore up for them a healthy self-appraisal, it's going to close a lot of doors for people who would notice weaknesses in our kids and want to point them out. Number one, they know what their weaknesses are, so nobody's going to surprise them with it. They can maybe even make a light comeback out of it, or at the very least, they're not going to be wounded by the fact that other people perceive some of those same weaknesses. And we can give our kids that future focus that there's a lot of things that are going to change about their situation. If they have acne, it's going to clear up. If they don't like their glasses or the clothes they're wearing, things are going to change for them. So they're not stuck in a place. So it's really important as parents that we help them to understand that this idea of how they perceive themselves, their weaknesses and their strengths, are one of the top ways they can stop a bully in their tracks. It was an interesting fact in the same video that I cited below that often it's been reported and studied that if a bully doesn't get a reaction after 3 times, they will move on to another target. So it's important for your kids to know that sometimes what they're looking for is just the reaction. If this doesn't work for your child, just pulling them up, giving them self-esteem, giving them a realistic idea of their future and how it's not going to be there forever, if it doesn't shake the bully, it's important for you to find out what is the system for handling bullies in your school, in your organizations, and making sure before you follow it that it actually protects the people who are being bullied. Sometimes they don't. You need to know that before you put your child in that situation. I recently have been cyberbullied, and I had some lessons that I have learned that I want to share with you. The first one I learned is there's going to be a wound in the person or the group who will be cyberbullying you. So if your kids are getting cyberbullied, there's a wound there, but normally it's not one they caused. It's not one that you caused. You will be painted whatever they need you to be, and you will cease to be human to them. And therefore, they feel comfortable taking away kindness, taking away respect, taking away basically your humanity. There's often going to be comfort in numbers. Rarely does a bully pursue somebody with no support and over a long period of time. It happens, but it's rare, at least not in the light of day. And lastly, if you don't play by the rules of a bully, they're going to destroy you. If you don't question their rules, they're going to destroy you. And if you misunderstand their rules, they'll destroy you. So you understand that a bully's mindset